I found that like working with my hands and serving in that way is kind of where I'm best suited to share the love of Christ. And that's what keeps me coming back, because I feel like that's the best way I can further the kingdom.
Welcome back to TBC 10 Minute Tuesday, a podcast of Thelma Baptist Church. Our goal with the podcast is to engage, inform, and inspire. Today, we are live on location in the beautiful country of Guatemala with a team of amazing people, and we're going to talk to some of them. The first person sitting to my left, and if it's echoing in here, it's okay if you hear a little echo, because we are downstairs in the mission house here on Grace Mountain. The first person that I have with me this morning is somebody who has been on, how many trips have we been on now together, Rebekah? 10 trips. Let me ask you a question, okay? And everybody's going to have an opportunity to answer different things and kind of let our people know what's going on, because as we said, engage, inform, inspire. And one of the ways of informing is each year we do sometimes multiple trips down here, but this is more of a building, service, and missions trip, because we have an opportunity to, after building the houses, actually share the gospel and dedicate the homes. But let me ask you, for you, what is your favorite part about coming to Guatemala?
I think my favorite part is probably the relationships that we get to build. You know, we get to see the same people every year. Yes, people come and go, and there are different faces that we meet every year. But, you know, the kids at the school, they remember your name, they remember your face even, and, you know, they're so excited to see you every year. Although I love all the other aspects of it, the building and going out into the village and doing all that, that's probably my favorite part, just the relationships.
And you guys also have a sponsored child.
Yes, we sponsor a child, and she is actually going to graduate this year. So that's been cool just to see her the past couple of years, and she is now starting her career, and she's actually getting to intern. She was telling us about it last night. She's getting to intern and start her career. So it's been cool to see that.
That is awesome. I love that. So sitting here, I told you, her husband, Alex Clark, is here. Let me ask you, because how many trips have you been on with us now?
This is my
Fifth trip. What about you? What is it that inspires you when you come on these trips to want to come back the next year?
I think the biggest thing for me is seeing the relationships that we get to build with the people that we get to minister to in the towns that we build houses for. Just seeing not only the physical gift of providing a home for them, but a spiritual need being met as well. And as you mentioned, you know, after we build the house, honestly, the more important thing that we do is dedicate the home and share the reason for why the house was built. And I think I just love seeing the excitement for, again, not only the physical blessing of the home, but just that blessing of knowing that while this thing on earth is good, and it is a blessing and it is an honor to have a home gifted to you, but there's a gift that's so much greater, and that's the reason ultimately why we're here. I think that's the most special thing, in addition to seeing just the tight-knit group. You know, I was sort of a late addition to this bunch, and everybody welcomed me in with open arms, and just seeing how close everyone is and how welcoming everyone is, it's really, really encouraging just seeing the fire that this group has. So it keeps me coming back every year.
I love that. And I love your heart. Being able to see, you came with us one year and gave a devotion for Father's Day at the feeding center, and that was probably one of my most favorite devotions that has been led here, was seeing you do that. So a couple of other people. Here's the cool part. There's like 8 people sitting down here right now. It is 8:30 at night, getting ready, because we record and then we post on Tuesday mornings. Everybody is like super quiet except for Danny, who is slamming cards on the table. So one of the other people that are sitting here is Alex Simmons. So Alex, I'm going to get you to get in the hot seat for just a minute and kind of give me your take on what it is that really inspires you about these trips and what makes you keep coming back.
Me personally, I've, over the years, done a lot of different forms of service, and I've found that working with my hands is something. I get nervous when I talk to people.
You just talk.
Yeah, yeah. I found that like working with my hands and serving in that way is kind of where I'm best suited to share the love of Christ, and that's what keeps me coming back, because I feel like that's the best way I can further the kingdom.
Because God does call us, and that's one of the things that we've talked about when we had our missions podcast, was just, it is the service. We're called to serve other people. And we actually talked about this morning at the church, Iglesia Jet, that we're called to serve, and we see where Jesus meets a physical need, but he's always looking for that spiritual opportunity in our life to love us and to heal us spiritually. So the next person that I want to talk to, I'm going to get Miss Nan to come over and get in the hot seat for just a minute. So Miss Nan Murchison, who is, how many trips have you been on with us, Nan?
8.
8 trips. And Miss Nan has been an amazing part of this team for more. I'm going to say more than 8, because it seems like you've been here like at least 100 times with us. But let me ask you, because you have a sponsor child, or a child that you sponsor here, and I want to ask specifically about your sponsor child. Tell me about how that came to be, and what is it that keeps you going on that?
One of the times we were here and we visit the school, the kids, and we see them and we just see the need. I mean, we learn that sometimes the only meals that they get are right there at the school. And that just breaks my heart to know that there are kids that the only way they get to eat is by coming to school. And that's their meals for breakfast and for lunch. And then when school is out for a break, or if there's a reason why they can't come to school, they don't get to eat. And so that's important for them to just get to come to school, not just for their education, but also for their nutrition. And it was important to me that I'd be able to help for those reasons, so that a child could be fed both mentally with their education, but also physically to meet those physical needs. So my sponsor child will always have a sponsor from the time that she's, continuing school all the way till the time she graduates, as long as I'm able.
That's awesome. I love that. And I love the heart behind it. And and you have been an amazing part of this team. And even though we almost lost you a couple of years ago, but luckily we had Dr. Stacy Brown with us that trip. But looking across here, somebody come on over, because you're going to have a seat and you're going to talk with me, because we're about to turn a corner and be real. We're about to be real with Anna Kate Simmons. She also has a podcast on the Spotify and Apple podcast, Being Real with Anna Kate Simmons. And you should look that up, because it's really cool. And I love, you've inspired me in doing our podcast and in what you do. So let me ask you, how many trips you been on with us?
7.
7 trips. How old were you the first time you came with us?
15.
Okay. So tell me, so you've been on 7 trips, and you pretty much put this on your calendar as this is going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. Tell me why.
I love coming here, but I think it's not only like getting to minister to everybody, like, and help everybody build the houses, but also build relationships that we have built here, like with the teachers, with all the families, and like Sabrina and everybody. It's just been awesome to like foster those relationships throughout the year, and just like know that like my friends aren't only in America, and like my community is not only in America. Like I know that when I come here, I have community that will build me up in my life throughout the year, even though I'm not here.
That's something that's kind of like it runs through everybody's answer. When I ask each person what it is, it genuinely comes down to the relationships that are built. That's amazing. It's why we do what we do, and it's what we've been called to do, to go into all nations. And although going into all nations and all the world starts at home, we do missions at home, we do service at home, and this is just that extension. So I guess this is the second missions podcast that we've had. The difference is, one, I was in a room by myself, and this time in a room with a lot of people and a lot of echo. So it does sound different, but it is more of a live recording. And so I want to say thank you to each of you guys. One, for not running out of the room when I hooked up the microphone, because some people did. We'll make fun of them. You can make comments on here about the people that ran out of the room. But thank you guys for taking a minute to talk with me, but also for taking a week and putting your money in to come and to do missions in Guatemala. So once again, let me remind you, Sunday, we would love to see you 8:30, 10 a.m. for worship at Thelma Baptist Church. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.